Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and I'm so excited to have Tampa's own lawyer, Peter Tragos. What's up, man? Welcome to the show.
What's up, Andy? Thanks for having me, buddy.
So many people have been trying to connect us through the Tampa Bay region, and I'm so glad JB over WFLA did, and I'm so honored to have you here on the channel. We finally did it. We're working together, and I'm so happy to do it. And as you were here, we were going to discuss this issue of jurors falling asleep during the trial, and we are still going to discuss that. But actually, some breaking news just happened. In news that will surprise no one, Camille Vasquez, the queen, just has been elevated to partner. She's a key member of the litigation team that won a jury verdict last week for actor Johnny Depp in his defamation trial. The full announcement that Brown Rudnick, the firm that obviously she was representing, has now elevated her to partner. Everyone was speculating, waiting for this announcement to happen. Peter, I imagine this does not surprise you, right?
Not at all. Not one bit. She earned it for sure.
Now, the question I have before we get to the sleeping jurors is I'm curious, like, what does this mean, being partner? Like, how do you does this mean her name's in the Brown Rudnick Vasquez? What does this mean for Camille?
So there are all sorts of different partner tracks, right? And when I was coming out of law school about 10 years ago, it was most firms like this had a 7-year partner track. I think she's been a lawyer for longer than 7 years, so I don't know how long she's been with them, but so maybe took a little longer than she was expected or than the track was. But there are junior partners, there are senior partners, and there are named partners, which are kind of 3 different categories. It seems like she would and there's also equity and non-equity partners. Non-equity partner is pretty much just partner in name only. Equity partner means sometimes you have to buy in to be a partner and you actually share in the firm's overall revenue, which is the type of partner you want to be. And then the top level partner is named partner. But if you notice, Brown Rudnick is not Brown Rudnick Chu.
Right.
So, and as we all know, Ben Chu, big time partner there. And it's funny, they have right there, wins $15 million verdict for Johnny Depp on the headline of their firm page. But yeah, this seems like the type of firm that's not going to ever add any named partners. So it seems like equity partner or senior partner is about as good as it can get. And my guess is Camille is on her way there.
So do you think this was a good choice for Camille to do? I mean, the rumors were out there swirling that she could have basically gotten any gig in town she wanted, including not just huge law firms that were trying to steal her away, but also talking heads on cable outlets, etc. Are you surprised she's staying at home or not?
So I would say I'm not surprised. Now, she seems smart, right? And the grass is not always greener. Right. So when you look at, money is one thing and it's important, but it's not everything. And although maybe she could have got more money somewhere else, we don't know that to be true because Brown Rudnick could have stepped up to the plate. But being in trial with a legit senior partner like Ben Chu and being given that much responsibility, that much availability to shine and to really go against the top-notch witnesses, do parts of opening and closing, all of the important parts of trial to show her skills, that's a lot. And, that was earned by her, yes. But also she has trust in her bosses, I think, or at least her former bosses and now partners, that they believe in her and they're going to give her the opportunity to shine. And I think that means a lot to an attorney, is being recognized for your success and for your hard work. And I definitely think they did that before she was even partner by the responsibility they gave her in this trial. So I think it was a good move. And they'll still probably give her some outs or availability to do stuff like this or become a talking head or expand her horizons a little bit.
Right, I imagine her being on outlets and being in talking head is actually helpful for Brown Rudnick or whoever she's representing. So Absolutely. She probably could have, well, yeah, go ahead, pursue these options, but we want you to be a lawyer here for our cases when we need you. And yeah, I would imagine they stepped up to pay whatever they needed to pay her to show her worth, which is great. That's what you want your employer to do, is appreciate you, give you the opportunities. And boy, did they give her those opportunities. You're right. And it says here, we usually save these for the fiscal year. But Camille's performance during the Johnny Depp proved the world that she's ready to take this next step now. We're incredibly proud of her and look forward to what she will accomplish in a newest partner. I mean, it's rare to have such a monumental televised case take over the world and have such a star lawyer pop out from it. It happens obviously, but you probably count on one hand the amount of, in the last 5 years, cases this big, right, Peter?
And I will tell you, it's not usually that they go and get stolen away to another firm. Usually what will happen is they start their own firm.
Right.
And it would be the Camille Vasquez firm, and she'll have an army of lawyers that want to come work for her because she will get the business. So they had to step up with some kind of, you're going to share in what everybody produces so that we also get to share in what you produce.
Yeah, which is a big move. So kudos to her and kudos to Brown Rudnick. That shows a team effort that I think is pretty, impressive and rare. And
we saw that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, who's not going to want to be a part of this team that is elevating their members and giving them the opportunities like they did with Camille? So good on them, and huge win. On the other side of the coin, but still related to this story, Herd supporters are not celebrating Camille's win. No, they're complaining because some jurors fell asleep during the trial. Peter, this is insane, but this all stemmed from court stenographer Judy, who did an interview. There's no issue here with Judy being seen with Johnny and all the stuff that people are trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. She's hired by both people, and she's allowed to be polite and show up and shake hands with any person on that trial, right, Peter? Or do you see some sort of ethical problem here with Judy after the show, saying hi and posing for pictures?
So, to taking them in turn, right? First, we'll start with the quicker one, which is Judy's kind of interactions post-trial with them. I did a short on it yesterday, just kind of rolling my eyes at them trying to make a big deal of this, and people came at me saying, that's not true. She just went to pick up her equipment. She wasn't hugging anybody or posing for pictures. The point is, either way, have I ever, partied with a stenographer or court reporter after a depo or trial? No. We always talk to them. We're very friendly with them. They are awesome. But the court reporter or stenographer has exactly zero to do with the outcome of a trial. They have no sway over a judge or a jury, so it's a totally moot point. And making a big deal about it is just a waste of time because she did not have any effect on the outcome of the trial. So say whatever you want to say. Maybe she liked Johnny Depp more by the end. It doesn't matter. It's not like you can recuse a court reporter. But when we talk about jurors sleeping, that could be a much bigger issue. And Amber Heard's team is complaining about it now. The stenographer mentioned it in an interview, and also some of the lawyers that do YouTube videos that actually went to the trial said the same thing. They were nodding off, they were dozing. I don't remember which one of it is specifically. Do you want to play the interview?
We have it right here. So let's see.
I remember the jury was very intent. They were listening very intently. And unfortunately, when the jury was chosen, we knew that there were going to be some that would not see it all the way through. That there were alternates. We knew who the alternates were from the start because they just picked the names randomly. But I could not remember the numbers. And there was, unfortunately, the one alternate that was on there. She was probably the one that listened the most. I watched her facial expression. She was very deeply into every word that was being said. And I thought she would have made a great juror, and she did not get to see it to the end. She just took her hand and go, and I was like, oh man, she was going to be the best juror. I really thought she was the best juror.
Interesting, and it was because she was paying so close.
She was paying close attention. There were a few jurors that were dozing off.
Really?
She never dozed off.
Were the jurors who were dozing off, were they in the back row, front row, both?
Both. And it was tough because there was a lot of video deposition. And, they would just sit there and all of a sudden I'd see their head drop. But never her.
Well, it's interesting because she's not picking a side there, right, Peter? She didn't say it was during Amber's depots that's when they fell asleep. But, of course, Amber's her supporters, desperately trying to cling on to this fact that, oh, how dare you? What is your reaction to this backlash?
Well, it's funny you say that because usually if you see this and you think it's going to be an issue for your side, you object to it and ask the judge to instruct the jurors to pay attention. And in fact, most case law says you have to do that in order to protect this issue for an appeal. Now, a lot of times we don't have videos streaming full time in the trial. I don't think there was a video camera on the jury. Obviously, we didn't see it in the streams that were publicly shown to us. But I have had this happen in jury selection, during trial, and we deal with it immediately. In jury selection, if a juror is dozing off while we're asking them questions, they're automatically going to get struck for cause. If it's happening multiple times throughout the trial, the judge will boot them. But we have to object and instruct them to pay attention. And sometimes, we talk at lawyer conferences and we discuss through trials, sometimes certain sides actually think it's a benefit to them if the jury is dozing off. And more likely than not, the defense is the one that thinks it's a benefit because the plaintiff has the burden to prove the case.
Right.
So if a jury's falling asleep and they miss some evidence, maybe they don't think there's enough evidence that they're proving the case. And I watched basically the whole trial, as I'm sure you did. I don't remember Amber Heard's lawyers objecting and asking the judge to instruct the jury to wake up. Do you?
No.
So I think they've waived that issue for appeal personally. I mean, unless they have a video of them sleeping through half the testimony, but again, they should have objected and pointed that out to the judge.
Right. And it's interesting because that's where I was going to get to, and you just got me there. So thank you. But it's like, it's Johnny's burden to prove. If they're falling asleep, exactly, that falls up and is bad for Johnny, not Amber. So for all the fans out there immediately jumping to conclusions that, oh, this hurts Amber's case. No, it was Johnny's. Johnny had an uphill battle to win this case. No, Peter, like much harder for Johnny to win this case than for Amber. And so
no doubt,
you'd think, Johnny's fans would be upset that they were sleeping, but they're not because they won and it's fine. But this reads like sour grapes and just they're grasping at any straws. And I think the most important point you're saying is, to reiterate, they can't file an appeal on the fact that jurors were sleeping because they didn't make a point of it during the trial.
Oh, they can file an appeal for whatever they want, but I'd be shocked if it was successful. It's like people asking, can I sue for that? Sure, you can sue for that, but are you going to win?
Right.
That's the real question. And I can foresee some supporters of probably one side saying it's totally unfair that the juror that was actually paying attention was an alternate and was sent home, because they would have for sure been for Amber Heard's side if they were paying attention so much to the trial. But you don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know which side this juror would have been on. Just because they were paying attention, they may have been great for Johnny, or they may have been great for Amber. And as we know from the outcome, even if they were great for Amber, the best that would have happened was a hung jury, because the other jurors all unanimously agreed in favor of Johnny Depp as an overall verdict, I think we can say.
And I probably already know the answer to this question, but as Judy's frustrated that the one person who's actually doing the job the best gets pulled, there's nothing they can do in that. That is a common standard thing, to pull those numbers before it's set in an envelope and then revealed after the fact.
So yeah, this is done differently in different jurisdictions and by different judges, but there's always some way to determine alternates. In our jurisdiction here in Florida, we pick a jury and it's 6 plus 2 alternates, or 6 plus 3 alternates, or 12 plus whatever. We know who the alternates are throughout the entire trial. I prefer that because you don't have this issue ever pop up. You know that person's an alternate the entire time. We have a separate strike for the alternates. So we use our strikes for the actual jury and a separate additional strike for the alternates. So we know who the alternates are going to be. So we don't have this, like Rittenhouse where they spun the wheel, or this case where they have random numbers where you're shocked and upset at who the alternate is. But that's how we have to do the jury system. That is not an issue for appeal, that somebody ended up being an alternate that wasn't on the jury, because theoretically, if Amber's team really wanted that person to be on the jury, then there's nothing they can do about it with the system that the judge has where it's random.
Final question as we wrap up, and make sure you guys, if you haven't already, go support the lawyer over on YouTube. You can give him a follow, a subscribe, and he's also over on Twitter, the lawyer Tragos Law. I appreciate him and want you guys to support him as well. But final thoughts as we wrap it up. Are you surprised at the reaction online? There's a lot of people who seem to be coming out of the woodwork on this case in general, sort of just believing Amber. And I don't know, my 2 cents is they didn't watch the trial. Do you get what has your reaction been to some of these detractors out there mad at this case?
So I'm always surprised, which I don't know how I still get surprised by these things, but I'm always surprised at how smug and nasty people can be, because it's not just saying things like, I stand with Amber, or I believe Amber. I listened to the trial. I found Amber more credible. I did not find Johnny credible. If that's your stance, okay, I disagree with it. I watched the whole trial. I was totally neutral at the beginning. I am still not a Johnny Depp stan trying to beat down the doors to protect Johnny Depp, but I think he won the trial. I found him to be more credible. I didn't find Amber to be credible, period. That's how I feel about the trial. So if somebody feels the opposite, that's fine. But for them to say, all of you who think Johnny Depp won, all of you who think that he had any evidence, all of you who think he proved actual malice, you're misogynistic, you're oppressing women, you're horrible people. I'm always surprised at the smugness and the anger that certain people have on Twitter and on social media toward people they just disagree with. So I think it's not a great discourse for people that are really coming after anybody that thinks it was appropriate that Johnny Depp won. So I hope that if you're out there and you disagree, you do it in a better way, or if you're on Johnny Depp's side, you can, respectfully disagree with them, because we don't need any more of that on social media.
Yeah, it's well said. There are a few journalists I've been engaging with privately, and I just feel like when I try to present, like, hey, look, I know we're not going to change each other's side, but here's why I think you should stop generalizing, because these tapes, et cetera, are pretty, triggering for a lot of people out there. They always come back with evidence that just feels like they they were looking as far as they could to make their opinion on Johnny be accurate. It's like I feel like there's a bias on either side where, yeah, you could go find something that's going to defend your side, but it's so hard for me to deny those tapes. It's like tapes and evidence should be like speak more than most other pieces of evidence we get in, and it's really hard for me to move beyond that. And I'm really frustrated that because we listen to these tapes and don't like this woman, we're all those things you listed by a lot of people on the internet. It's incredibly frustrating, this culture war that's being brewed. To me, that's completely baseless. And it's turning into political, or he's Trump-loving conservative. I'm like, dude, you clearly weren't watching with my audience. We had thousands of liberal, diverse women who were like, don't buy it. So it's frustrating to see the generalizations out there. Be careful out there, is all I'll say to you guys on the Twitters especially. But if you want some good breakdowns, make sure you go follow the lawyer you know over on YouTube, or you can follow him over on Twitter. Would love to have you back, Peter. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Come on a live sometime if you like. Any final words?
No, I will be back for sure. And hopefully you can come join me on my channel sometime.
And hopefully we'll just go get a drink, man, because we're both in Tampa Bay. How great. So
no excuses here.
Go Tampa Bay. I might be doing a Tampa Bay meetup soon. So if there's any other random people in Tampa that watch, join us over on Telegram. We do have a Tampa group because we throw some fun little get-togethers once in a while. Hopefully we'll meet you guys. Thank you for being here, Peter. Great to meet you virtually. Make sure if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to both our channels. Hit the bell for all alerts. Smash the like button and leave a comment down below. We'll be back live later today around 1 p.m. Peter, if you're available, join. We're going to have a legal roundtable. We're going to talk about some UK stuff as well as the ACLU and Johnny's response to them. Lots to get into. Hopefully see you there, if not sometime soon. In the meanwhile, guys, join us live, but also watch these. Click on these videos if you haven't already. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy your day.